You want low recoil? Don't go to a 22. Here's another test I'm doing with 22 long rifle versus 32 Smith & Wesson long. You know, the 32 Smith & Wesson long is a classic cartridge. It's been out for a very long time, but I'm surprised at how few people actually know about it. It's a very popular cartridge way back in the day, but the point of this video is a lot of people say 22 long rifle. That's the way to go if you want low recoil. And they'll get these little tiny pistols, and these have a lot in common with each other. You know, whether it's an LCP, this Beretta Bobcat here, a whole host of other pistols. You know, they weigh like 10 ounces, 12 ounces, very light. So even though 22 long rifle is a very low recoil cartridge, when you go that light, not necessarily. 32 Smith & Wesson long, that is a very low recoil cartridge. It has more recoil than the 22. However, most of your guns chambered in 32 long, 32 H&R mag, or like this one, Ruger LCR 327 Federal Magnum that will chamber and fire it, are just a tad heavier, and that extra weight of those guns evens out that recoil just enough that they basically have the same felt recoil. But the difference here is a 32 caliber is bigger than a 22 caliber. It's going to do more damage. Now what I brought out today is two of the rounds that I would actually use or would recommend to people to use for self-defense in these particular guns. This is a 22 long rifle mini mag. It's a target, however it's not a hollow point, and the reason for that is hollow points are not going to really expand in pistols like this, and if they do, it's going to limit the penetration below what you want. It's going to limit it below the minimum. And in 32 Smith & Wesson long, I got some Wadcutters, 100 grain Wadcutters. So 40 grain lead round nose versus 100 grain Wadcutters. Why Wadcutters? The velocity in 32 Smith & Wesson long is very low. It's below most expansion thresholds. Therefore, if you had a hollow point, it's not going to expand anyway. But with a Wadcutter, it's like a soup can in there. It just cuts and tears tissue, crushes tissue. Very effective round, even though it's supposed to be a quote-unquote target load. So we're going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time, and as always I'm going to do my 10% clear ballistic test, which contains 4 layers of denim followed by 3 inches of clear ballistics to represent hitting a pectoral muscle, followed by a 1/4 inch MDF to represent hitting ribs or sternum, and into more clear ballistics we'll do a shot with the MDF to represent a chest shot, ribs or sternum, and we'll pull that out. We'll do a shot without it to represent just a gut shot, and then we'll shoot from 25 yards at our full-size steel silhouette just to kind of see what kind of overall practical accuracy we can get. So let's get started with this test. All right, first up we have our 22 long rifle. I am about 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. 40 grain bullet. Let's see what we get through our little Bobcat. By the way, this is a 2.4 inch barrel. The LCR is a 1.875 inch. So let's see what we get with our 22 LR. 854, 841, I pulled that, 821, 829, 822. So not very high velocity, but really consistent. Let's see what we get with our 32 Smith & Wesson long. 100 grain bullet. 633, 644. 599, 668, 645. So you might say that's pretty low velocity, it is. But the point of this is the recoil is the same between the two of these. I mean, they both feel like cap guns. So let's hit our ballistics gel block, see what we get with these 2 rounds. All right, first up we have our 22 long rifle. Let's see what this will do through our 4 layers of denim, 3 inches of clear ballistics, 1/4 inch MDF into more clear ballistics. 22 long rifle, lead round nose, or copper plated lead round nose. All right, so that's about what I expected. We're at about 8.5 inches total penetration, and there shouldn't be anything going on here. It looks like it's possibly starting to tumble just because it's kind of an oblong hole, but we'll leave this out and we'll see how it does without that MDF. All right, no MDF, just our gut shot. We'll see how our 22 does. All right. All right, so what we got going on there is we're at about 9 3/4 inches. And the reason why I'm using these particular rounds, well, the main reason is because they're widely available. And even the Blazer 22 long rifle are these rounds, just not copper plated. It's the same ammo. So you want to have something that's consistent that you can practice with a lot. That really matters. If you went to like a, a Federal Punch or something, not a lot of those around. I mean, you can get a few boxes, but you know what I'm saying. But that's basically what you're gonna get with a little pocket pistol and a 22. So let's see how our 32 Smith & Wesson long compares. All right, 32 Smith & Wesson long through the MDF. We'll see how it compares to the 22. Very low velocity though. All right. And for being the same felt recoil to me, that's a lot better. Just crushing through. We're at about 11.5 inches, and that's through MDF even. You know, much more damage there. So let's try it without the MDF, see how that compares. All right, no MDF, just our gut shot. Let's see how our 32 long does this way. All right. And you can see there's a significant difference there. We're at 15 3/4, maybe 16. And there's a whole bunch of permanent like damage in there, maybe tumbling. So even though I had the same felt recoil, that is a significant difference. As far as our penetration goes, that meets an FBI or International Wound Ballistics penetration number. Obviously it doesn't meet those numbers, we're not getting an expansion, but you can definitely see here, this is incredible because I am not lying saying that the felt recoil is the same, but we're getting significantly better performance with our 32 long. Let's shoot for that 25 yards, see what we can get for practical accuracy. All right, 25 yards from the target, 22 long rifle. Red a Bobcat, we'll see how this does. All right, those are shooting a little bit high. It's interesting, I was aiming kind of center mass, low center mass, so let's see how the 32 Smith & Wesson long will compare. All right, these are also shooting high for me. Case ejection's excellent. That one that's stuck. I wanted to show these reloads here. These are kind of cool. You put them on a speed loader, little stubby things there. Can they be reloaded? I am struggling here with these, to be honest. And I don't think they're gonna work very well on a speed loader just because there's a lot going on here to overcome. This is terrible, so. I recommend don't use these for a reload, only for your primary, because they just kind of fell out all out. They would not go in. Looked cool though in that speed loader. So, keep going with this. All right, same phenomenon. I had to aim basically at the very base of that target and it's shooting up. And the reason for that is because when you have cartridges that are that slow, you actually have powder coming out, recoil happening, and then the bullet comes out. So rather than coming out straight this way, it's actually coming out this way. So it's gonna hit higher. Unless you were at 75 yards, then it would come back down. It would seem point of aim at 75 yards, something like that. But overall, Total difference there. And the reason why I use that 22 long rifle round is because I'm not going to use a hollow point, because you're going to limit that penetration. And even with a really good round, we did not get very good penetration, very little damage. This is just a run-of-the-mill nothing round for target. It did significantly better. It was actually even quieter sounding to my ears. So I would use this for self-defense. If I had to give a gun to an elderly person, something like that, absolutely this. Much more than I would ever give a 22 long rifle to somebody to defend themselves. That just doesn't make sense to use a 22 long rifle for so many reasons. Reliability, recoil is kind of snappy, and that little pistol actually probably more than this. This is more of a push. Totally reliable. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.